You've been out to watch their opposition. What did you make of them?
They're a technical team. Practically, they like to play the right way and play through the thirds. So they've got good players. They have a few internationals. And if you're going by the bookies, then there's favourites for this game. So people say the bookies never get it wrong, but we'll go there and play as we always try and play and stamp our authority on the game and try and come back here with a lead. That's what we want to achieve.
So the bookies have them as favourites. I think their manager is saying these are firm favourites, really, given these are full-time professionals. What do you think of that? Obviously, it's going to be tricky any game.
When you get to this stage of competition, then every single game that you play in is difficult. This will be no different. And as I said, they have a few internationals. They've got some really good players, but if we're set up properly, if we do our business right, then there's no reason why we can't go and get a victory if we apply ourselves properly and attack the game and approach the game in the manner that I know we can.
You look past the first game, but your ambitions are to go to all of Europe if possible this year.
Our ambitions are to go out there on Thursday and try and win, and we'll deal with whatever comes after that.
Were that your first experience as a manager in Europe? Did you pick up anything from that experience?
Of course, you learn not just Europe, every single game. I'm only in this job, this mad job, a couple of years, and you're learning all the time and evolving all the time and hopefully improving all the time, and that's the name of the game. As I said previously, you make plenty of mistakes, you get signings right, you get signings wrong, you get team selections right, you get team selections wrong, but when you get to this level, it's really important that you do everything in your power to get it right, and we'll work this week on our plan to go over there and try and win.
You still get as excited as you would have as a player and as a fan getting this time again?
No, it's a completely different feeling as a manager. Of course, it captures the imagination more, but gives you more to think about because you don't know the opposition as well as what you would. So we watching as much footage, both collectively and individually, of their players, and it's probably a wee bit of the unknown. But I think for players, I remember being a player and playing in Europe. There's no better feeling. It's so exciting. It's different. You're coming up against different players, and there's more to deal with maybe as a manager, but as a player, there's a lot to look forward to.
Patrick, obviously you've had many like European with the dog and stuff like that, and obviously Derry too. It's really lovely. You excited back in Europe with Derry City?
It's for me as a player, it's the most exciting part of the year, really. Obviously I've done quite well in recent past, getting the group stages and stuff, so I can only help the players towards my experiences and what we have to do. So no, look, it's an exciting game for us, and one we're looking forward to.
And obviously Rory will be well tuned in and telling you what you're sort of come up against, and from your point of view, just telling the players in the squad, Europe is a completely different ballgame.
It is. Look, it's different styles. You have to do your homework. I think that's the main thing on it, and we'll be ready. We'll be set up, and we've obviously watched a wee bit on them, and they're a good side. And people look from a distance and say it's a Faroe Islands, but they can play. We've watched them, so we'll not be taking it lightly. But we're going there to win.
Played against Faroes opposition for Dundalk. It was the actual league leaders at the moment. I think there's 13 points ahead. He's beat Tórshavn. So what did he take from that? And obviously, it's a few years back as well. I'm sure their games progressed on same. But
again, just come back to my previous answer. It's about styles. I think when we played them, and it was Claxvik, we played for Dundalk, and they set up. We came to Aviva, and they sat in, and it was hard to break down. Where we're playing against a completely different style here now with Tórshavn. I feel as if they play a bit more and they play out from the back, and they're two centre half split, stuff like that. Where Claxvik didn't do that; they just got up to the halfway line and So again, it's down to styles and doing your homework, and we've done that.
20 odd minutes on Friday. How are you feeling after your injury? And obviously, it's great to come back at this business in the season.
Look, it's a good time for me to come back because of Europe, and me personally, it's what I look forward to the most because it's what you work towards. And I feel good, it's just good to be out there, to be honest, and whatever way possible I can get out there, it's good for me.
The last time Derry won a home game in Europe and the last time they got 3 rounds, you actually scored against Everton. It's a long time ago. We need to change that record again.
Look, it's a thing that we strive towards. Really, we spoke about it in pre-season about trying to get 3 rounds in Europe, and it's easier said than done. Let me tell you, it's not just show up and teams roll over. It's tough. And again, as I said previously, you need to set up properly and do your job right. But look, I think there's a hunger in the group, and everybody's really looking forward to it. In
recent years, Dundalk and Rovers have got far advanced. That was a process. Where do you see Derry City's expectations are this year? So obviously, you're still in the early stages of where you want to go.
I always find it dangerous and it's a boring old answer, I know, but it's the truth. I find it dangerous to look too far beyond this game. And as Patrick said there now, that people look at a club from the Faroes like but them days are gone. Them days are finished. These clubs know how to play. They know how to set up. They'll have done their homework on us, absolutely, and honestly, I want the one on Thursday, and then I want the one the following Thursday. And if we achieve that, then we'll look to the next round. And it's a boring answer, sorry, but it's extremely dangerous. They look too far ahead.
Hi, Rory. Can I just ask you what a factor the conditions will be in the Faroes? That the weather can be pretty intense and changeable there. I
think it's very similar to here. I don't think it'll be too warm going by the. It isn't, is it?
No, I meant more like it could be sudden downpours and just very swirling winds and whatever else. And
it can be windy. It can be windy and that sort of thing. But we live in Ireland. We haven't been brought up in a tropical environment, so we're well used to wind and rain and all that sort of stuff. So we'll be ready. Whatever we've enough experience in our team, enough know how to adapt to different conditions.
And just it is a fairly kind of unique kind of setting, the whole place. And maybe there's a sense of just trying to get in there, get out with some sort of results. Well, and how do you kind of, I guess, get the players to take all those external factors out, like your surroundings, not be lulled into a false sense of security or whatever else?
No, well, I think the level of competition that we're playing and will make sure that the players are fully focused on the job. We know how important it is the football club, to the city, the supporters. We know what's at stake, and I think the different competition will stimulate the players, and we won't be walking through town centres and coffee shops. We'll be in the hotel. We'll be having meetings on the opposition. We'll be going to the stadium to train. We'll be coming back and doing our normal thing, and then we'll be going to the stadium to play a football match. So the external factors won't play a part because we'll be on our own bubble.
And just you touched on what you had learned, not just from European games, but last year, but games generally. But in terms of an experience, Europe, was there anything that surprised you as a manager that you maybe hadn't expected, or something that you might do differently as a result of last year?
No, well, if just say, for example, we had a draw, got Riga again, because it's two completely different teams. So if we had got Riga again, I would have done something different. But this is a different draw, a different team, different systems. So it's really important that the players know exactly what we want in and out of possession. And once we got the game against Sligo, put parked up, then we were able to focus on how we're going to approach this game, and we know we've got the quality, we know we've got the capability of going out there and getting a really good result. And it's my job and the staff job to give the players real clarity on what we want from them. But to answer your question, if we could repeat, if we got Riga again, then we probably would do something different as a result.
Would you see, from what you've witnessed of them, HB being competitive and doing well in the League of Ireland in terms of their level?
I think tactically and technically they're well coached, they're well drilled, they've got good individual players. Their centre forward scores goals. So it's really hard to put a level on it until you've actually played them. But went out there last weekend, watched the game. There wasn't an awful lot in the game. I know they lost 2-0 against the league leaders, but there wasn't loads in the game, and I'm sure it'll be an even enough contest, and with us hopefully edging it.
Thanks, best of luck.
Thanks, Neil.
Hi, Rory. Gary from the Star here. How you doing? From your memories and experience of the 2006 European campaign, Rory, what impact did that have on your own career, on the club, and on the city as well?
I would have to say it was the most special year of my playing career, without a shadow of a doubt. I think we live in a really unique city, and European, like what we done. People talk about Gretna away and Paris, but we went out to Gothenburg in the first round and beat them, and actually deserved to win the game. And then we came here and beat them here again and thoroughly deserved to go through. For me personally, that was probably because I started both games, but that was the most special sort of couple of games that I've ever experienced. They had a couple of players who had just come out of the World Cup playing for Sweden, Nicholas Alexandersson being one of them, Pontus Wernbloom, a couple of players, but we were huge underdogs, and probably from that moment on to the end of the 2006 season, it really gave an injection of passion and life around the city, and you could see it. You could sense it. The public got right behind it. You can see it around the city in the last 18 months in particular. There's a real buzz around the football club again, and when you get that connection, I think it's the most special club in Ireland. And that's my view on it. And for my career, I look back on it as being one of my favorite times I've ever experienced in football.
And final one from me, just following up on that, Rory. You're still with the club. You're in a different capacity now, but like, does that drive you to want to do something off your own back now in management to create even fresher memories and long-lasting memories for the people of the city?
Of course it does, because all you have after you retire, whether you retire as a player and go out of the game, or whether you retire as a manager, all you have then is memories and hopefully medals. So the more memories you can collect over the years, the better. And I certainly was took over the club a couple of years ago, and a difficult situation. We're now going into another European venture, so there's a lot to be proud of, but there's a lot of memories still to be made, and I hope that we can create a lot more this year, because when this club does well in Europe, the lift that it gives the city is unbelievable, and I want to see it in kids' faces. I want to see it in grown men who, like, there's so many young kids going to the Brandywell these days. There's so many old men and women who mightn't get many more of these experiences. So you want to give them people something to really latch on to and something to be proud of. And if I can help achieve that as a manager, and by the way, I'm only a small cog in the wheel, if I can help the club achieve that in any way, then it would be a really proud moment for me. But we've got a lot of work to do to create more memories.
Thanks so much. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Hi Rory, how are you?
Who's that?
Sean O'Connor from the
Ron,
Independent.
how are you?
How are you? Good, thanks. Just one for me, if that's okay. Is based on the footage the last few days, is there any areas in particular you're hoping to hurt them on Thursday?
Yes.
And just based on kind of last summer, like how much of a factor is it putting that disappointment behind you as like a motivation to progress in this round?
Aye, of course. Riga weren't bad, you know. Riga weren't bad. They were all right. They were an absolutely brilliant team, and we knew that. And if we're coming up against a side who, as I said, there's a few international players who will want to do well in their own career. So you can learn from last year, but it's a completely different challenge. Two different clubs, two different styles. And Riga were probably a real experienced team. They've got more experience in recent years at that level, where Tórshavn probably don't have the same experience. But when was the last time we went through a round in Europe? When? We haven't went through a round in Europe in 9 years, so we're not really in any sort of position to put ourselves on a pedestal, that's for sure. So we've a lot of work to do, but it's a really exciting time of the year, as Patrick said, and coaches, staff, players, supporters, directors. It's something they really look forward to.
And Patrick, just for yourself, is there any bits of advice you can pass on to the younger players from your experience in Europe and how to perform on nights like these?
There's loads, you know, like it's the first one is don't take it for granted, because it might not happen every year. So when you're out there, it's do the business. But again, it just comes down to when you're in, it's finding out what the teams are about, and if you have to slow it down, you might have to slow the tempo and keep the ball. You might have to get under your shape quicker, because sometimes when you're playing in Europe, they can kill you, especially the higher or the further the round you go. So no, look, I'm experienced enough to be able to help them.